Hello. Hi. Greetings. Today we got a public holiday till the 26th because we have reached, I think, 70 people with corona. This is a
And
matter
they
of
all are in the same place.
this is a matter of international um something. Holy shit, the thing is covering my eyes. Hold on. There we go. This is a matter of public safety. The malls have been closed. Public services have. The zombies have come. It. It's done. We're dead. We're gone. I have to wear a mask here at home because I fear somebody sneezed 3 blocks away will give me the infection.
You just gave me the infection, so thanks.
Dude, the amount of misinformation on Corona in Kuwait is just fucking beautiful. Okay, people wearing masks, okay, safety and all that, I don't mind. But people saying that the Chinese eat fetuses and that's why we have the coronavirus, I have trouble with that. I can't handle that. I don't know where people get this. Like, okay, like the Chinese do a lot of shady shit. They eat dogs, they do shit like that. But like, okay, they don't eat fucking fetuses, human fetuses. What the fuck? Who eats human
Ch-
fetuses?
China garden stocks fell down.
Ah, you can still vape on with this. See, that doesn't even help. Smoke can pass through.
It's still vape
How?
with it.
So yeah, this is getting a tad bit uncomfortable. There we go. Ooh.
This is the
There
new
we
glasses shtick.
Yes, welcome people to the Salt
Well,
Grinder, where respect is a suggestion. And first things first, malls have been closed here. You know, it's reached that much. You know, you go to Italy with the coronavirus, it's understandable. They get, they blinked and now they have over like a few short of 1,000 people. So they quarantined 16 million people. That makes sense, right? Because it's fucking Italy, right? They're known to overreact, but but
basically, I've seen like how their president was like, "Okay, guys, this is going out of control. Everyone, please stay in their houses." So they went in the streets and were like, "No, you can't make us stay at home. We want to go hang out, bars and shit." So it's like, okay, now everyone's gonna stay at home and just lock the whole country up. What a legend.
yep, yep, they're gonna lock everything up. Here as well. It's gonna go full quarantine mode, and I kind of don't get it. Because okay, if the death rate was more, I'd understand. But I always thought like, okay, the only reason the government gave the holiday thing is mainly because everybody's not showing up anyway. Everybody's just kind of like checking in and going home and then checking out. I know people who check out early morning because the papers are still there in my work. You know, the sign out papers left like overtime or something. It's utter like anarchy when it comes to
I'll tell
people
you what
not
is
caring.
the main argument and the main concern from a medical standpoint. The death rate isn't bad. The only problem is there isn't that much hospital capacity around the world, and even there's a shortage of testing kits to test people. So if it does break out all over the world, it's very infectious, not lethal but infectious, and then we won't have enough spots in hospitals to cure people. That's what the worry is, that we don't want that to happen.
I guess it's somewhat understandable. I can't like complain too much about it, but still, I still find this to be an overreaction. Like, it
By
could
all
be.
means, it is. It is definitely an overreaction.
Um, I guess. I guess it's people should have just stuck to this, right? They just apply that and walk around and wash your hand. As I watched a YouTube video like on the British leader of the House, Jacob Rees-Mogg, and they asked him about like what to do with the corona as a regular citizen. He said, "Oh, all you need to do is wash your hand to the period of the first verse of the national anthem, and you kill the possibility of passing the virus by whatever percentage." And I love the fact that he chose the national anthem as God save the Queen. Okay, I'm good. You know,
What is he on?
it's he's not anything. He just chose something that everybody knows. Instead of saying 3 seconds, which people can easily forget, it's very hard to forget somebody saying, wash to the length of the first verse of the national anthem. That's kind of memorable. Actually, it's kind of clever because everybody knows the national anthem and you don't need to even know seconds in order to fucking do it.
Except me.
Yeah, you're not British. You're talking to the British people. And it's one verse. It's God save the Queen, you know? And then you say low key me and you're good, right?
Honestly, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for this to die out. I keep saying this number, but I'm saying 2 months before the whole thing sunsets.
Oh no, my prediction is my prediction is towards the start of the summer break is when the outbreak falls off, and I'm looking at the pattern of old flus that hit us. You know, the swine flu, the bird flu, and these took about a good 6 months since it got serious for it to die out, and I assume that's how long it takes the virus to get enough people infected that selling the cure becomes profitable. That's my conspiracy theory.
At least it's not the. It's engineered by the Chinese government.
Oh no, it's not engineered by the Chinese government. Let me tell you exactly how it happened. Xi Jinping, yeah, he was eating human fetus, you know, as the rumors go, right? He was eating human fetus with his thin lips and his censorship, and he's eating, and then he sneezed. And then he was like, no, 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 no. I don't know how the Chinese say no, like "Nying Tao" or something. And then he say boo. Okay, boo.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. He says boo. Everybody freaks out. They think they're gonna be gulagged, right? And then he slaps the plate. The plate goes out the window, and it falls like in the sewers where the rats feeds on it. The rats feed on it, and then these rats develop corona because human fetus, right? And then Chinese being the Chinese, one
being
guy
the
from
year of the rat and everything.
Yeah, Year of the Rat, right? They had to celebrate, so they started, just putting off whatever, catching rats and selling them in the rat market, right next to the dog market, right? And apparently bats are a delicacy, so that counts as rats too, right? Bats are technically rats, and then they ate it and they got corona, and then it just started spreading. That's how it happened, right?
How did you
The rest
combine
is
every conspiracy theory into one story? That's why put this on Facebook and people will believe it.
You have to understand. I've been looking over it. Just I inhaled from the mask. You inhale from the mask, you're done. The second you inhale from the mask, all the conspiracies come. And besides, I think it's a better theory than whatever people has been coming up with recently. So some say, oh, it's a U.S. strike. The others say, oh, it's the China doing it to its own people. But they lost zillions. I'm like, but that doesn't matter.
They were making a weapon, but it broke, and then they got.
Yeah, they did. They pulled a Resident Evil, right? They were with the Umbrella Corporation there, right? So was
Yeah.
trying to make it weaponize a virus, and then it got out of hand. And it's ridiculous. It's utterly
I
ridiculous.
want Bernie when he does his winning speech, to, like go out and say that the pharmaceutical companies made the virus to sell more masks.
Oh, dude, he'd lose a lot of people, but he'll gain a lot of people as well. All those conspiracy theorists will be like, "Oh yeah, I should vote Bernie." Um, but speaking of, have you seen what happened to like poor Trump? Like,
What happened this time?
um, they're
Like
still
that interview
saying
we had.
no. There was that interview that last week, and then now like every CNN source is like trying to hype up the outbreak and saying that Trump is not equipped to handle it. And their hope, of course, is by showing this incompetence that eventually in November people will be like, yeah, Trump handled the coronavirus very poorly, and even though he's the first guy who closed the airports, from China, so like we should vote for Bernie instead. Bernie is the epitome of responsibility for the coronavirus, or Biden. They ask Biden about the virus, and
Biden's
he's
getting
like,
screwed over a
"There's a
lot.
dude. He lost the second Trump tweeted Sleepy Joe. It was done. If your name is Sleepy Joe, if that's your nickname, and you forget who your wife is and who your sister is in the middle of a rally, I think you're done. I think you should go. You're clearly too old for this.
It's funny you brought up the whole closing the airports to China thingy because I had a critical thinking assignment where we were like looking for fallacies and whatnot, and I made my entire part solely from Trump's Twitter, and I chose that one for the oversimplified fallacy.
So he oversimplified the coronavirus outbreak, or how
No,
did it go?
he oversimplified the cause of people being saved in this country. Like he said that just because I closed the thing, travel and whatnot, that I saved a lot of people. While he also simultaneously blamed the Democrats for being too distracted with his impeachment thing, which is kind of sad when like how that turned out. A lot of hype for nothing.
No, but that's true though. At least not the first part, but the second, because the Democrats were too distracted by impeachment to do anything else.
Which didn't work.
Yeah, they placed all in on a bet, and they did not get it. I'm surprised they thought they could. They could have easily been like in the beginning of impeachment. They could have been like, instead of impeaching him, like, okay, we could impeach, but instead we'll let the voter decide. You guys decide whether this is worth impeaching or not, and that would have been a stronger statement than
That would have been.
Yep. No, like the situation with Trump is hilarious, especially the impeachment. Because here's the thing with everybody right now, the process of getting the nominees coming, right? So there's the caucuses and all of that, trying to get the Democratic nominee. Well, there's also a Republican caucus, right? And there's Trump, and then there's like three people who think they have a shot, right? Trump is winning that caucus. No, there's no real competition. But Republicans are showing up in record numbers to vote for Trump in a caucus that does not matter. Anyway, not only that, it's the numbers of the Republican caucus is more than the Democratic caucuses that happened, and they're all voting for Trump in a vote that doesn't matter, underlying two lines there. So
I'm not sure if the burn can do it, to be honest.
I've been saying it for a long time. I don't think Bernie has it. I don't think Joe. If Joe has it, there's zero chance of him winning. If Bernie has it, maybe like 15% or something. That's how much I'll give him. A lot of things. The stars have to align, and then maybe Bernie wins. My only hope is that both Bernie and Joe like get a heart attack at the same time, and they fall out of the race, and then Tulsi Gabbard takes over because Tulsi may not win, but at least she's a candidate that's worthy of respect for the election.
I don't know. They all sucked. I'm surprised the one gay guy didn't win.
Really?
That tends to
No,
be a theme.
no. It's too soon. It's too soon for America. Maybe they'll let the gays walk around, but they won't let them president just yet. They're not ready for that yet.
Fine, but
Imagine the first lady being a guy. the first male first lady being a fucking gay married couple thing. That'd be beautiful. Like they could even get in from
the University of Toronto will make a proposition to change it to first person.
Really?
It's likely. Like they're gonna go across the border and say it.
First person. They ruined it. They're gonna ruin everything, aren't they? No. Here's the thing, right? Here's a topic since we're gonna hit the SJWs, right? So recently, a new service came out from some shady website that's with poor grammar. It's an odd facilities, and basically the website. I forget the name specifically, but you can basically use that website to hire gamer girls to play games with you online, like League of Legends and stuff, and it's like $5 a game or something like that. And
I mean, there's a market. That's new. The new simp form of prostitution, I guess. But this thing has been on Fiverr for so long. It's surprising only now they made a website just for it.
Dude, the fact that there's a website means that there is enough demand for somebody to actually like pay super attention and make like everything and all the math and all the things that it's a fucking it's impressive. It's impressive that we got this far. I'm surprised. I would think that what do you call it? Yeah, I think that people would look at a service like this and maybe feel a slight hint of guilt and decide not to go through on it. But people are registering like crazy. Like the site crashed or something because too many signups at once.
I mean, it plays off of similar thing, doing something to the effect that
hello, are you lagging?
some cameras is not the pornography aspect. It's more so the aspect of
you
having
lagged.
someone to talk.
Can you repeat it?
Yeah, let me see where I can find proper internet. But yeah, I'm saying it's somewhere to the effect of cam girls. I remember reading an article about how the main thing that attracts some men to religiously follow some cam girl, it's not the pornography aspect. It is the aspect of having someone who would talk to you, sort of like a pretend girlfriend. And I think that's in a way a similar thing. A pretend girlfriend who would play video games with you, League of Legends or something. That's the same thing.
I guess it's fair enough, but still, like I can't comprehend it. Like because here's the thing: pornography is 100 times better, and web shows are slightly better if you're not paying. Something like, a Twitch stream. But paying $5 for one game to be played with you with a player that sucks but happens to have a vagina, I find it very, very odd. I mean, am I alone in this? Like
I
watching
mean,
somebody on Twitch
keep
makes
in
more sense.
keep in mind there's a big, like, you're trying to look at only one aspect of these people, of that audience's mentality. You gotta take into account the rest. Maybe there are people who are not very attractive in the mainstream sense, or interesting in the mainstream sense. And when you get someone who you find attractive onto a platform that you are good at, let's say you're a really good League of Legends player, there's an element of you know this is my field, and
Okay,
you might be face palming at it, but
no, not
I think
you.
that's a
Look
what
at
I'm,
this.
I'm
Look
not
at
looking at
this. Look at the comments. Oh,
I mean, there is some point to it.
um, okay. No, first things first. A fetish means you get sexual gratification from doing something, right? So if you pay somebody, if you spend money on a woman and you feel good, that is not a sexual feeling. That's not a fetish. That's just somebody liking to spend on other people and being a provider. That's part of the male archetype, being providing for people. So when you pay for a woman, you are fulfilling some sort of male desire. Yeah, but it's not a fucking fetish. You don't throw money at a girl and think like, go home and masturbate. That's not how this goes. No, no, I refuse. Um, so how does this? Oh, my brain hurts. I'm sorry, guys. Oh. So, Yasha, are you still around? No. Oh yeah, he's out. Um. Hold on, let me check. Hold on a second, guys. This chat is waiting. Um. So yeah, until Yasha comes back, I'm gonna keep addressing this topic. Come on, man. You get. Oh, he's back. Are you back? Hello. um. Hello. Yeah. Oh, let me check his Discord. Oh. Oh. Hold on. We haven't.
What? Why is
Yeah.
this
You're.
to me?
Yeah. There's one you now. Don't worry.
Okay, great.
Oh, I am in control.
Big boy.
um. But yeah. Again, the same thing.
I mean, we opened this topic at sort of like something that will hurt the SJWs or something like that. Which, do you really think that's going to do that? I mean, that's kind of an advanced form of sex work, for example, and that is something they really like to endorse.
Yes, Gabondi man, I realize this. Um, I realized this, that a guy spent half his salary. Like, the stories are infinite, right? So that we all remember the infamous Billy Delphine, right, where she has, like, you do the Patreon thing, and then she gives you a Snapchat link, and you get access to the more enjoyable aspects of her personality, right? It happens, and a lot of people do that, and I view this as more of like a predatory thing. I find it as a predatory mentality. It's people finding that there are ways you can leech off others, and it's the same as people, for example, trying to squeeze out charity from you by showing you pictures of puppies and specifically telling children to lie down and pretend that they're hungry, and then taking a very, very nice photo of them, and then telling them to fuck off. It's the same amount. It's all like, how do we squeeze money out of people, right? And this e-girl thing is just the most recent iteration of it.
But this is inevitable, and in any form, it must have existed at all periods of human existence, kind of. Someone's gonna do that in one way or another. Someone's gonna try to make the most use out of. Oh God, no!
Hello.
I can just.
Oh.
Guess who's back?
You don't look back. You look like you've just rose from the dead. That's what you look like.
Yes, exactly. Fuck that fucking Corona
You
shit.
look like you're back from Panda Express.
Do you know what this fucking era feels like? Feels like the fucking Dark Ages, but it's fucking bootleg because it's made in China.
Bruh.
Like, seriously, people, chill. Fucking people getting fucking home quarantined and shit.
How does it feel to not be able to get education?
How does it feel to not be able to go to the fucking gym? I went there and the fucking parking lot was fucking empty, and I just realized there are like no Filipino fucking buff guys there, and I was like, okay, the gym is fucking closed. Like, what the fuck is happening?
Why do you go to the same gym as Asa? Why do you do that?
No, it's not the same gym as fucking Asa. I'm going to a fucking gym close to my fucking house. Anyways, I'm glad to be back. It's kind of a bad introduction. Yes, I would.
So tell me, are you gonna go to the e-girl website and get yourself a gamer girl to play with you, like League of Legends?
No, I'd rather get 2 sponges and a fucking cup.
It's slightly more affordable.
I mean, it depends on the cup.
It is the budget version. If you're talking about fucking KFC, like large cup, then yeah, it's pretty cheap.
I need a KFC fucking.
No, again, I repeat, there is nothing warrants paying $5 to play a game with someone. Okay, maybe in a tournament you pay the $5 to utilize the facilities. That makes sense. You go on a tournament, you want to compete, it's a high level thing. You want to enter somewhere like a pro tournament, and they want to prize money, so they tell you, okay, $5 to get in, and then the top 3 gets this number of money from the prize pool. I can understand that. These are all things that are for fun. You're paying for fun, but paying $5.
See, this is also a tournament. You're competing with your neckbeard buddies who can get a girlfriend first.
I mean, remember when gaming tournaments, they brought a fucking person from Grindr and he almost got the fucking championship because he was trans?
I mean...
let's not comment. I'm trying to stay in this country. Let's go on.
Actually, funny enough, do you know, guys, if you're on YouTube and you mention the coronavirus, you're immediately demonetized?
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Way to go, fucking YouTube. Way to go.
Yeah, they're demonetizing everybody with the corona thing. So everybody's like calling it different names. Anything but corona. I've
One
seen
second.
some place. I think TLDR News. They call it crown disease. And here's something I don't get, right? It's education. So, some people want to look up what the corona means, right? You'll get demonetized. It's amazing. And not only that, the new YouTube. Have you guys heard of the new YouTube laws? The new kappa, basically the one that will be 100 times worse than the current kappa.
So my mother
All I know
came
is
back
I'm
from fucking holiday.
10 reports away from becoming a YouTube hero. Watch out.
So here's how it went, right? For people who don't know, the new YouTube legislation that's coming. Well, it's not from YouTube. First thing, it's from some Democratic senator, the same guy who brought the previous one, Kappa. And basically, what he says is like, first things first. A lot of advertisements is going for kids, and we need to protect kids. So what you do is you target channels that trick the kids into buying stuff, and what the logical train of thought that he went through is eventually unboxing videos. So what he wants to do is he wants to remove
1 second.
what is it called? He wants to remove unboxing videos from the advertising algorithm. And what he wants to do is he wants to remove anything related to searches of any products from anybody that's 16-year-olds and lower. So he wants to push the age from 13 to 16. So he wants to kill an entire genre on YouTube by removing its ability to advertise itself. You can only view those videos if you know that the channel exists, or you search for it. It can no longer be recommended, even on like related videos, on that section. And that bill is being passed right now. And I don't know about you guys, that sounds terrifying to me.
That sounds great to me. That specific genre is a very predatory, manipulative genre. Many people on there are genuinely good people who just want children entertainment, but many are in it for the extremely easy money. If we kill those channels, I don't mind.
But here's the thing, unboxing channels provide great level of education if I'm researching. So if I want to know how the product looks like, I can look up an unboxing channel, and what they do is there's like, people bring them packages and they unbox it and they test it, and then they tell you what they think about it.
But see,
First
if they're
impressions.
advertising a product that is designed and advertised for an older audience, which is the thing you'd be interested in, and anyone would be unboxing a GTX some card or something. It's different from Ryan's toy reviews, or they go to Walmart to grab a toy and make $1 million out of it.
But
that's the problem I have there.
even then, if you're opening up toys, how different is it from a commercial that's trying to sell toys on TV? Why aren't we attacking TV for this? When they bring up, toys, and then Superman does this, and then buy this from your local retailer, right? How is that good and fine, but on YouTube it's bad?
I think it's a problem of availability and use of what the fuck?
God damn it, Hamod. Yeah, it's reached that point. I think if you sneeze on YouTube now, until you get demonetized. But yeah, I'm sorry I interrupted you. Go on.
Okay. Why not? What was this thing? I think it's the thing of availability and use of abusability. Advertisements. Not everyone can advertise. It requires a budget and requires to be approved. Anyone can get a sponsorship on YouTube.
That is fair enough, and but again, I repeat, You're attacking the entire genre. You're not saying, for example, that if you review these certain things and we know their kids are vulnerable to them, we're going to stop you. No, we're going to attack the entire unboxing thing. If you unbox fucking guns, you'd still be affected. You know, if you unbox, I don't know, mics that kids would never be interested in unless they want to stream on Twitch and become the next PewDiePie, you know, that anything can be kids. Here's the thing: whenever you're trying to protect kids by government legislation, it doesn't work. That should be the parents' responsibility. You should empower parents by giving them awareness on how things go on the internet, giving them the capabilities to protect their kids. And YouTube Kids exists. There's a kids section on Netflix. I would like to think there is one for Google as well. You know, there is a kids filter. You can put it. It does exist. And it's just a matter of educating the parent that this exists. So if they watch a kid-related video on YouTube, regular, they give you something in the bottom of it saying, by the way, did you know YouTube Kids exists? So your child gets protected.
I get your point, and it's definitely a fair point, but you have to look at it from the legislator's perspective. First of all, there is a very important difference between legislation and enforcement of said legislation. Just because there are laws doesn't mean that it will be implicated. For example, you guys remember the weird EU law back in the day that everyone was fighting about, and then it got passed, and then nothing happened? What was it, Article 13 or some dumb crap?
Oh.
Yeah, everyone forgot about that. It's a similar effect. Even if the legislator wants to implement the capability to disrupt, stop, or attack specific individuals doing specific things, doesn't mean that they will do it to everyone. It just means they can. It's always, these things are always there because the legislator will not depend on the parents to do their job, because parents tend to be idiots.
Well,
a good portion of them. But and keep in mind,
that does not mean that we should allow it to be passed just because it may not affect us. You know, it's a tool in the end. Kappa existed for 20 years before they attacked YouTube, right? It existed for 20 years, but eventually one guy decided to fuck people up, and it worked. And now he's passing new laws to fuck more people up on YouTube and hit the revenue stream. Again, it's a dangerous tool to give the government.
It is a dangerous tool, but at the end, there's so many of these sorts of tools, and there are so many worse. You kind of you can fight over it, but I don't think you'll get anywhere. They have all the leverage in these cases. It's like, I remember.
So here's the thing about this, right? That's the part where I'm horribly in disagreement for one particular reason. I'm not in the US, but if I were, it's a democratic nation, right? So my tax dollars are going so you'd benefit my life, right? So if you pass a law like this, I'd vote you out, or I try to at least. And the fact that he's there and he's making these legislations and he was elected to do so, that's fine. I'll elect a guy to remove these bills and reverse them. And one of the things that happen is you have to hold people accountable. That's the thing about being elected is, and the people who are elected are supposed to be accountable by the electorate, right? I can't just stay by idle, not critiquing the person who got elected for doing things that are uneducated or not of primary benefit. And again, this is all like, it's the same part of, it's libertarianism versus authoritarianism. Do you want the government to have more power and control over things, or do you want people to have more power? No matter how much government legislation you're going to sprinkle to protect kids, in the end, if the parent is negligent, it's done. So it's better to give education and power to the parent. And while we can say that, sure, this won't affect us much, or there's nothing we can do about it, is a valid argument as people who are not in the US right now. That does not mean that critiquing and saying that it's a bad idea and having people be aware of this and then hold accountable the people who are trying to do this, that doesn't mean that that doesn't have any inherent value. In the end, isn't that how Brexit happened? People held the elected accountable, and when they failed to do their job, they voted them out and voted people who would perform the desires of the electorate. This is how a democratic process is supposed to go, right?
Well, by all means, I agree with that, and I see the point. And if you are in that scenario, do tell people, critique and spread awareness of said critique. Hold a discussion, hold an argument. That's fine. Me personally, I don't really trust the democratic process. Well, not the democratic process, but the effectiveness of it in current day. If you get the internet angry about it somehow, even the people in the US, I don't think they can provide enough power to cause any effect, because that senator may care about their job, but they're probably backed up by something stronger. So would it work? Merely theoretically. That's what I think.
In the end, the most important part, in my opinion, about this is that when YouTube has and is forced to implement these laws and people lose more money and YouTube loses a lot of money and the entire genre and entire lifestyle of people where they want to show people, they like opening packages, they want to unlock packages and show people, and they would like the means to keep doing that, that will go. And when that goes, it's because people did not care enough to hold people accountable. Instead, they're more concerned with SJW, trans crap, and the next Marvel film. And that I find discouraging.
Also, when did the government start controlling the fucking media or call YouTube a media platform? It used to be just a fucking website. And now all we have in our recommendations is just like fucking satisfying videos you have to watch before you go to fucking sleep. Like you just watch people cut fucking soap and they are still monetized. Like what's the logical thing behind it?
It's not the government. You have to look at it. You have to look at who owns YouTube, and that's Google, right? Alphabet, and Alphabet has a globalist agenda, i.e., they want to globalize the world and have Google become one of the primary, factors controlling said globalized markets/peoples. And in order to do that, you need to push. What do you call it? An ideology that pushes comfort above freedom. In order to do that, you need to make your services so comfortable and so satisfying that, and of course, all wired towards your globalist goal, that it ends up giving you the desired effects. How do you do that? One, you push down nationalist right-wing channels. Two, you push leftist agenda, which is right now, the SJWs, the feminists, the Black Lives Matters, and all that crap. Anything that wants to provide government legislation in order to put more power to government and less control for the people. Welfare programs, social programs, healthcare, etc., etc. Not saying that healthcare is specifically bad. We had that conversation last stream, but again, it's all part of the same plot, right? Which is that they're trying to push a global world, and in order to push that agenda, they need to sort of pacify the people. And everything that's going on YouTube and a lot of these sites online, all of that seems to guide us towards the other direction, and they're not succeeding. I have to put that in perspective. It's not like we're working our way and there's no fighting back. The fact that Trump got elected and Boris Johnson got elected in the US and the UK respectively is telling you that people are noticing the trends and they're going against it, and that's where the democratic process saves you. is because since the people are held accountable and checks and balances are already built in the system, it's hard to control from a globalist perspective. And if you push too far in one specific direction, people tend to push back, and that's what's been happening right now.
I mean, yes. The whole pushback with the more right-wing leaning anti-globalist mentalities, I get what you mean, and that's fair enough, and I respect that. But it's more so that I'm not sure about. I think there's more to what these corporations are trying to pull off than just pure globalism. Uh, is it possible for a corporate-driven authority or sovereignty of some sorts? At least, maybe at the very least, economically.
I fail to see how those are separate. Aren't they the same thing?
Well, you can still have globalism without corporate-driven globalism, I guess.
It's very
Isn't that what?
difficult to do so, mainly because the main economic or the main unit that unifies all these other people, all the peoples around the world, is the economic process and the economic trend, which is mainly the stock market, centralized bank, money flow, and all that. And if you look at it, we already have globalization when it comes to manufacturing and business. So you have your markets in China and your electronics in China. You send them to Germany. They make the cars get exported everywhere else. And the same can go for t-shirts. You get the material from here. It gets sent to the factory there. It gets transported to that place, and that place transports it to everywhere else. And it's a huge network. That's why when one thing fails, like one bubble cracks somewhere, the ripple is felt throughout the world. We're already in an economically kind of globalized world. The only difference right now is that now you want to globalize the people. That's why the migrant problem happened in Europe. If you send the migrants in huge tropes, you destroy the cultural identity of the people on it. And if you do that, you're able to if you do that, you're able to actually what do you do? What is it called? Yeah, you're able to crush the identities of the people around, and therefore pacify the people because they're too busy hating each other instead of hating you. And then you try to push things like gender doesn't matter, age doesn't matter, identity groups and PC culture, and then you start controlling speech. And once you can start controlling speech, you can start removing these problematic elements. The rebels. You can start removing them on the go. Look at Tommy Robinson. What happens to him in Britain? Tommy Robinson tried to call out grooming gangs and whatever, and he's immediately been labeled a racist, and he's been smeared publicly by everybody. Sargon of Akkad, same thing on YouTube. He tried to push, tried to expose certain these problems that happen in the UK, and suddenly he gets attacked and being called a racist, and suddenly you just throw labels at them. Look at Antifa in the US, where they anybody that tries to do anything kind of productive, they go and attack him and smear him, and and through that violence you kind of shut up, and then you're suddenly in a dictatorship, disguised as what do you call it? Disguised as a utopia. And regardless of your opinion of Sargon, he shouldn't have been deplatformed. That's my point here. If it's the same argument with Alex Jones. Alex Jones says crazy stuff, but that doesn't mean he's not allowed to fucking say it. The second you start attacking and removing people from the ability to talk, you basically lose any value of speech. Speech becomes accommodation, not really exploration. Know what I mean?
Yeah, the whole speech thing. I think there's some debate to it.
I mean, currently freedom of speech
Where do you
doesn't exist
draw the
anymore.
line about speech, right? Some people believe there can be no line. Some people try to define something as what is hate speech, and maybe we should stop there. What is propaganda, stuff like that. I
Uh,
think there should be a line. Maybe it's not common sense, and maybe it's very culturally dependent. But
Okay, let me
what do you think?
before I address your question, I'll address this point from Gamandiman, and then continue on and connect my points to your question. And basically, YouTube is a private establishment; they can ban whoever they want. You're not wrong. You're not wrong in the fact that YouTube is a private company, and so they should be able to do whatever the fuck they want. However, I think it's a bad move for YouTube because YouTube has always been the platform where you broadcast yourself. And one of the things they hold, or they used to hold, is the ability for people to create whatever content they desire. And if somebody wants to say something, that's the first opportunity to explore it. It's like, what's better? You push Alex Jones and Sargon and all these people down into their own echo chamber where people agree and they start recruiting themselves privately, and then the entire thing grows, and because there is no ability to dispute it because they've been deplatformed and therefore they're in their own private place where they get to talk, this will only fester and get worse if it's bad. If it's good, it will grow slowly as well. You're limiting growth, but what happens is without the ability to expose the public eye to people to dangerous people, and I don't think Alex Jones and Sargon are dangerous people. Maybe you say they're provocators. Those have a place. That's better than regular media provocators, right? My ability to actually call them out on their bullshit if they're wrong is enough to justify that free speech. It's because in the end, it's a matter of debate. If in order for anything to progress, it needs to be debated properly. Otherwise, it's very rare for it to progress. And
I would say, in terms of freedom of speech, if it's on a private platform like YouTube, it has to be limited. But if you're seeing like other websites and companies and platforms like BuzzFeed and CNN, whatever, they can just claim anything and it will pass like easily. Like you can see the shitty and dumb articles they post every single day.
And they should be allowed to post these articles. And I should be
Because
allowed
it's
to have a
their own company.
platform. No, I should be allowed to have a platform where I shit on them as well. But I'm not allowed to
exactly.
on YouTube.
Exactly.
And that's a problem. And again, you can argue, YouTube is a private firm. They should do whatever the fuck they want. And yes, you're perfectly right. And the fact that they have the legal right to do whatever the fuck they want. But I here have to call the moral argument, because YouTube is a platform for broadcasting yourself. It should be a platform where people get a say, and corporations came in now that they noticed that everybody clicks YouTube more than their fucking channels, and they want to take over our platform, right? And I dislike that, and I can dispute their choices.
I agree on the fact that it will cause more problems than it's trying to solve. It's not beneficial for YouTube, but I have a problem with this idea that all of these concepts being shared, regardless of what context they're in, that's a debate thing. I don't think that holds as much merit now as it did before. I think that sort of debate and conversation culture is slowly dying as everything becomes more polarized, partisan, and left and right become more and more of ideologies rather than groups of beliefs. What I'm trying to say is that we've reached a point where people like, let's say, the Sargon of Akkad, his YouTube channel, it's basically just a choir preach. And most channels like that, they're just preaching to the choir. There's no one that is no. We reach a point where no one is willing to listen to the other point. So debate doesn't matter, whether they are on YouTube or they're on 8chan. They're gonna get together and preach to each other. Nothing is gonna change.
Okay,
And
hold
leftist
on.
people preach to each other. Yeah.
I have to hold that thought. I'm curious. This word was used. I was following your trend, Gawandi man, until you reached this, and I fervently disagree. But I'm curious to hear what you two think about it. This first, you guys cover your points. I've been talking too long. And yes, Darkrai. Alex Jones is the only true prophet. Yes.
Exactly. We missed that, man.
But yeah, what are
Bring
your thoughts
that
on hate
legend back.
speech? Is
Seriously.
hate speech good? Is hate speech bad? Should hate speech be allowed?
I mean, if you're looking like, I mean, if the hate speech is following a logical like solution or trying to follow a logical solution, then there's nothing wrong about it. But if it's just like trying to promote violence in many types of ways without any like logical reason or whatever, then I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be bad, but why not leave it for people to critique it in order to like distinguish it between other hate speeches? And if it's still happening in YouTube, why do we have the like and dislike system ratio and whatever? Why keep it there? Why just like fucking ban it and whatever? Leave it for the people to critique it. That's why there are
sure.
likes and dislikes and comment section.
Sure, but here's the big, really important thing: is that hate speech as a concept is extremely hard to define, and I don't think there are two people who agree on the same definition, because it's an extremely subjective thing that is meant to be painted as objective, or at least non-subjective. And what you can label as hate speech and what you can't is also not easy to define. So based on that, you can't answer that question. Is it good or not?
Actually, let me help you out, Yasha. Hate speech has been defined. It's been defined way back when, and it's punishable by law already. If you call for violence against somebody, it is punishable by law. If you smear somebody's reputation, it is punishable by law. If this is hate speech, it has already been implemented in every law system we can call modern these days, right? But what people call as hate speech is, for example, if I'm Poland and I'm a very conservative Catholic nation with very conservative Catholic people, and some people come to me and tell me support the gays, and them being a conservative Catholic country are somewhat still not open to the idea as much, and so people come out and say this is bad. Maybe we don't punish those who are gay, but maybe we shouldn't promote the agenda. That is right now these days is considered hate speech. Why?
Exactly my point. Because if you just take the definition you've made as what hate speech is, fine. Most people can agree on that. Most people, from the sense of maintaining order in a nation. Not everyone goes around killing each other and going on witch hunts. But in a modern definition of hate speech, culture has to be considered. And when you try to apply your definition of hate speech with your culture on other people's culture, you got a problem. See, you can't define it the same. There's a lot of morals that go around with it.
Let me take it a step further, right? Let's say I make a joke. I'm a comedian, and I make a joke about a trans person being raped in poor taste, right? My joke wasn't funny. In the end, I was trying to tell a joke as a comedian. The joke didn't hit well. Fine, right? I can apologize for, I could say too soon. I can recover and move on to the next joke. But instead, that joke is now being considered hate speech. Not only that, if you don't support abortion, right now, that's hate speech. You're trying to remove power from women. The definition is broad and it is deadly because it can hit anybody. And when Canada made hate speech laws mandatory, i.e., you're not only are you punished for hate speech, which can be anything, you're also compelled to say certain things like gender pronouns. You can see the steps these can take into an authoritarian George Orwell 1984 fucking world, because that's what he envisioned, a world with controlled speech. So the word hate speech, the second you use it, and again, you don't follow the legal definitions, meaning, and they don't call it hate speech. If you call to violence against somebody, milkshake them all, where are you, Carlos Mazza? That is punishable by law. If you smear somebody, that is punishable by law. If you insult somebody, that's punishable by law. If you physically hit somebody, that's punishable by law. All of these are punishable by law already. The law is clear and it protects you. Why do we need more? And why do we need to make it not only a legal tool, but a social tool to shame people into shutting up? For example, you see Sargon has a thing against Muslims, right? Sargon is full on saying that there's a Muslim menace, and he slowly evolved his opinions. I've been watching his videos recently, and now he's taken a step back, and he's more like, okay, not all of them are bad, but we have a grooming gang problem in the UK, and he tries to call it out. And it just so happens that the grooming gangs are mostly Muslim Pakistani origin for the most part. So it's a cultural problem, not specifically a Muslim problem, right? And he does call that to attention. If I call it hate speech and ignore him, nothing will come about it. But if I come up to him and have a debate, maybe I change his mind, maybe I don't. But the people who watch this debate, who watch this discussion, watch these responses, have the ability to change their mind, get a broader perspective, and develop their thought process. That's how Jordan Peterson came to be, right? He said no to legislated speech. Everybody called him a racist. Everybody called him whatever. But he strived and he continued making sense. And suddenly people started realizing that maybe he has a point, right? Similarly, that's the beauty of anything that happens on the internet. That's what evolves science, right? Is the ability of somebody to bring in something that's an argument, and then somebody looks it up and then says, no, you're wrong, and here's why. And then the other guy's like, you know what? You're wrong, and here's why. Isn't that how Einstein debated Bohr on his I think his the nature of the atom or something like that, like the quarks? The fact that quarks are random. It was a full-on debate between Bohr and Einstein. Every fucking scientific conference, they come and they debate it. And eventually Einstein lost that one, and Bohr won because the experimental evidence was with him, right? It wouldn't have happened if Einstein was like, "Oh, you're hating on my theory, bro."
I mean, okay.
Look, I don't want to
make me realize something. Yep.
I don't want to cut you guys off, but it has been exposed that the number of expats that just came to Kuwait before the airport closes off is 5,100. And all of them have the COVID fucking virus, and that's why everyone is getting home quarantined, and everything is gonna get closed by tomorrow.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. And my theory or my prediction is Farwania is probably going to be quarantined heavily. It's going to be fenced by the next week or two.
You see the Yasha,
right.
whatever, it's better. Well,
Yeah,
it's
but
gonna be
back to the point.
It's going to be fucked. They should have closed the airport earlier, but they were waiting for Kuwaitis that are abroad at the moment. But all of the expats that were outside, they just came back. Like 5,100 cases just came back.
Well, I guess things will get clearer as more time passes. Again, I'm not too worried about the coronavirus.
Hopefully.
Yeah. But yeah, do proceed with your point, Yasha, please.
Yeah, you did make a very convincing argument. Very convincing argument regarding the power of debate, and maybe I was when I talked about preaching the choir was a bit targeted towards a specific group rather than the general population. But first of all, regarding hate speech being used as a tool, or in this case, a weapon, to shut down debate or control speech, I think it is simply because if you ask someone, should we have freedom of
Yeah. um, Again, it is a difficult and complicated topic that is relevant, right? And that's what the point of the discussion is. So again, when they asked Peterson, why should your free speech trump a trans person's right to be offended, and he said because in order to ask the difficult questions and in order to have a proper debate, you need to be somewhat offensive. You need to be provocative. You need to that because anytime a new idea springs up, it challenges older ideas, and you have to risk offending the other person in order to get anything that's of value. So in the end, that's what it should. I think that's what it turns down to, right? That's why I'm heavily for allowing people to say everything, including anything that could be considered including anything that can be considered dangerous. You know, like if somebody wants to
what was
promote
the last
Nazi
thing I
agenda, I have no idea.
Oh. What are you talking about? Carry on.
Again, if somebody wants to promote Nazi agenda, you know, anti-Jew propaganda and all that, he should have a platform, because that's how we're going to shit on him and stop him from being a Nazi. Otherwise, they're going to be pushed underground. They're going to have a basement somewhere. They're going to start passing buttons and having hand signatures to signify who they are. And suddenly you have a school shooter somewhere, or a mosque shooter, because he never had a chance to change his opinion. You've already shot him down.
Again, you have the right concept of how it should be done in mind, and most people who use hate speech as a weapon think the same way. It's just, again, why is it used as a weapon? Because if you ask someone, should we have free speech? They would tell you, yes, except for hate speech. It's generally agreed upon that is where you would have to shut down the argument, or whoever's saying it, when it becomes quote-unquote hate speech. So whatever you can label as that, you can shut it down. So that's why I'm saying it's very vital for us to make a very well-defined definition for hate speech and spread awareness about that. Thus, we diminish the effectiveness of using hate speech as a weapon. Different if we allow people with like Nazi agenda to talk and then we trash them. The easiest way to do that is to not accept their words as acceptable by calling it hate speech. That's what they're doing effectively. All right, I don't like what you're saying, and I want to shit on it, so I'm gonna call it hate speech. That's the easiest way to do it.
Well, guys.
Hello.
Khair.
Oh wow. My PP went up.
My PP went up.
I heard hate speech. This sounds like fun.
Yeah, we're covering this topic, and I want to re-show Mahmoud's point here, which is hate speech should be trialed in the court of public opinion and not in the court of law. And I think this is the core. This summarizes my entire point, right? Which is that people should be allowed to speak, and then us, the people, should be allowed to judge them and put on our own opinions on them and debate them should the need arise. But the second
Okay.
it becomes punishable by law, the second people get deplatformed and removed, and they use mechanisms against them to remove their ability to talk because you disagree with them or you consider what they do hate speech. That's when things get dangerous. That's when things get authoritarian.
That's when it's
What
no longer
about
free
the
speech.
core legal definition of hate speech that you've talked about? Endorsing attacks or insults or smears.
Calls to violence.
Should that also be? Yeah.
No, calls to violence, public smearing are things that, if you do, will cause public distress and chaos, which is why they're banned, right? They cause direct harm, which is bad. Smearing somebody, look what happened to Tulsi when Hillary said she was a Russian agent. She lost her campaign. That's direct damage by a smear.
So that should be punishable by law.
That should be punishable by law, and it should be sued, and it should be determined, and all that. But if I say, I think Hitler had a point, and suddenly I'm a bad guy, and I'm deplatformed, and I'm punished legally, that's a problem. Because I'm trying to explore an idea here. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm trying to find something here. That's all there is to it. What are your thoughts on it, Hamod, since you just came in? We're talking about what the effects of hate speech generally. I'm of the team that hate speech should be strict in the legal definition that I've just mentioned, and anything else should be open for exploration. Yasha, I'm not specifically sure what your take is. You can put your take, so Hamud.
Well, my take on it might be similar to yours. I generally believe that everybody should talk about whatever the hell they want, but just like minus the calling to violence and all that, that should be considered hate speech and should be backed up by the law. Anything else, why not? We might be wrong on it. Of course, that's what I mean. Like, if you're not trying to hurt anybody, if you're not trying to cause trouble, why you can't just talk about whatever the hell you want. Generally, that's what free speech is built upon, right?
Yes, and to answer your question, Gibadiman, how is Nazi speech okay? That's calls to violence. What's considered Nazi speech these days is, for example, calling to attention that, for example, there are a lot of rich people that also happen to be Jews, and they may be being against Israel generally, right? A lot of people can call you a Nazi for that. They broaden the definition, and suddenly it's considered hate speech. And you may not be calling to violence. You may be just saying that there's a problem and it needs a solution. If you're saying burn all the Jews, that's punishable by law. It's very different. It's like, again, if your direct calls to violence in any place is already punishable by law. But if you're saying, for example, illegal immigration is causing a huge problem, and most of it is coming from Mexico, so we should do something about that, and that's hate speech, I have a problem with that, because you're exploring a problem and trying to find a solution. Maybe you're wrong. I don't know. We'll have to find out. But if you immediately smear it in hate speech, so open the borders, blocking the Syrian migrants is a crime. Well, keep in mind, you can only house so many, and they're already taking everything. We're already giving them very strict welfare, and their culture is different. So they're going to act differently. They're not assimilating. We have to fix this. No, that's hate speech. I'm done. I'm out. I can't do anything anymore. Do you get what I mean?
Apart about the fact, about this topic, like revolving about like the immigrants and whatever, look at the state of Turkey right now. It's getting shittier and shittier by the moment. Like, you can still critique the situation in order to find the solution, not just ignore it and call it hate speech.
Pretty much. That's pretty much how it goes, right? And again, border crisis is a huge mess in Turkey right now with Greece, and Turkey's doing a lot of dirty moves. All right.
This threatening with migrants is probably the most unique threatening message I've ever seen.
Dude, it's anything, but they're not calling it war, but it certainly looks like war.
But
Like, just
before we
imagine
go
you're
back,
threatening a country. I'm gonna threaten you to send over immigrants. It's just weird.
before we go back to Papa Erdogan, the best man on earth,
Fuck Erdogan.
I do want to bring the counter argument really quickly, which is my take on this entire thing is I think hate speech should remain seen in a court of law. Just let's fix the problem of what can be called hate speech. So the things like the expanding of what is Nazi speech and all of that can be mitigated or removed. I do not trust at all the court of public opinion. It is so easy to sway public opinion. Everyone's panicking about Corona because it's so easy to sway public opinion. We can't let, especially with really important topics and really important conversations, we can't leave that to the people. People are retarded. It has to be in a court of law where educated people can make educated judgment. Just let us clear out what is hate speech.
Okay, let me address a few points there. First things first. You assume that the people who are passing on the laws are educated about the topics specific to those particular things, which most often they're not. And second part is that they're old. You know, that guy who's passing the bill to limit YouTube stuff, he's old. So he's thinking very, very old-fashioned, right? He doesn't understand this new internet crap, so he doesn't know how to do it in a proper way. We need another generation before the internet is perceived in a better light, or YouTube or something like that. So while it is in theory, it looks good to leave the people who are considered competent to handle this mess. It's also important to realize that the idea of the court of public opinion is the same as when we say, parents should raise their kids, not the government. And so we should give parents more power and more ability to educate their kids properly instead of letting the government force feed everybody into whatever they think is best. One gives better results than the other. It's like, it's like what Winston Churchill said, which is that, democracy is the worst form of government except for all the other forms that we've tried. You give power to the government, suddenly it's not about who's competent, it's about who played his political game better to climb up the ranks and which bill does what. There's there's a vape ban right now going on in the US, and according to the discussions I've had, it's like one businessman who forced this legislation and is trying to hoard vape products away from local retailers. So a few years later he removes the ban, and then it's now fully corporate, and so he starts investing in it again, and people will be happy to buy. And that's a way to retake the market from the local people and putting it to places where they can benefit. And yeah, you see how this goes whenever government is given free control over this mess.
I see that this is a form of one of the most common arguments against authoritarianism or autocracy, and it's 100% correct, and is 100% the main reason why democracy is a better system than the more authoritarian system. But democracy is way safer. You can't have these scenarios happen, but it's way less efficient.
It is. Monarchy is 100 times better. Monarchy is 100 times better if you have a good monarch.
Exactly. if you
have a bad one, you're fucked.
But it's not as safe. But it's not as safe.
Because it's a dice roll. Yeah, it's a dice roll.
Yeah. At least with democracy, nothing bad's gonna happen anytime soon. Okay, most of the time.
It can happen, but it can also be reversed. It's very slow. Like look at Brexit and how long that took. Right? It took 4 years for Brexit to be implemented properly. And the main reason is because it's a democratic process and people had to do it democratically, and it's kind of sucked, but then the people decided. And the electorate, the electors are responsible for the electorate. I will always praise the UK's parliamentary democracy system on that. Now, again, it is a question, right? It is a question of who should do what. And in my opinion, I'd rather have regular people, fuck up 20,000 times so they eventually don't fuck up on the 20,001st try, rather than having the possibility of giving away too much power and then you have another Soviet Russia, because that's how it goes. It's very hard not to get a Soviet dictatorship. It's a miracle where you don't have more of these happening. I mean, look at China, right? Full government control. Doesn't really help me as a citizen.
Bats.
Yeah, you eat
So-
bats, you eat bats, and if you get corona, you get death camped. Like no accountability. There is no accountability here.
And then you say China is the best country in the whole world.
Again, there is no perfect system right now, but as far as I'm concerned, a free market democracy, which is known as capitalism right now for some reason, thanks Karl Marx, free market democracy is the system that is most efficient. And I like, there's a British conservative MP, Jacob Rees-Mogg, who made a very great point and explained it. And for anybody who's interested, you guys can talk on the Discord, and I can send you the link, where he makes an argument on why the rich getting richer is actually better for the poor people. Because when the rich get richer, they want to employ more people, and when they want to employ more people, they bring more people out of the poor class into the middle class. So as people get richer, the poorer get richer too, and that's why we have the lowest poverty rate currently in the world than any other time in history, right? While if you apply a more welfare-based, let's help the poor out a bit too much, suddenly, as Margaret Thatcher once said, the problem with socialism is that you run out of other people's money. And because not a lot of people are allowed to make a ton of money, not a lot of people can make a ton of money from the poor spectrum and goes up. And I've actually looked up the economics of China, and one of the things they did in their second generation after Mao is the guy who got put in charge, which was the leader, which wasn't really the leader of the nation. He was the leader of the party, which is technically the leader of the nation. But what he did was basically try to make an industrial boom in China, and what he did was he made special economic zones into the communist China, and then he gave the people the opportunity to become filthy rich. And what he said, he's like, my ideal vision is for everybody to be rich, but in order for that to happen, we need a few people to be rich first. So even in communist China, they understood that concept.
I guess there is merit to it. Welfare is
America.
I think it's a good concept, but it has to be done in a very, very meticulous way. And it's easy to throw it out of control, and then it becomes counterproductive.
How so?
Let me put a really simple example from in my streets. Winnipeg, I live, is Canada is a welfare state. And welfare genuinely helps a ton of people, especially, and this is important because it's an immigration state. It keeps bringing more people in, and whenever you immigrate, there will be a period of terrible financial states, and there's a lot of way the country helps you do that, and then you get back on your feet, and then you benefit the economy more. So they invest in you in a way, but there are other aspects of welfare in Canada that are targeted maybe towards the demographics of people that have so many other issues that it's not a very good investment. For example, my city has the highest crime rate in the country right now, from gangs, murders, gang violence, and drugs, and all the money they live off of welfare, but nothing ever changes. It's just money being poured into them. A terrible investment. This is why it's becoming counterproductive.
Well, that's the challenges of a welfare program. I mean, let's not look far. Look at my country, Kuwait. We have a ton of welfare, right? And a lot of people would rather take the welfare than actually invest in a market economy, and that's why people find it dangerous to invest and make a ton of money, because the government gives you a ton of it already, and you just kind of get a government job. And what that does is it stifles growth. People create a dependency on the welfare, right? And
Exactly, dependency. That's it.
So, but here's the thing, and I want to ask you all guys that question. Welfare has its benefits, but how much welfare is too much?
Well, if you can depend on it, that's when it becomes too much.
If you can depend on it, and I will add, if it's too easy to get.
Yeah, that's Kuwait.
So I'm going to bring the example of Europe. Countries like Denmark, like Norway, Scandinavian countries, people love calling these into attention. They're free market economies. We have to establish that. However, they have something I like to call a social safety net. So if things go bad for you, the government can bring you back up on your feet, but it is your responsibility still to take care of yourself. We'll just help you out if you're struggling. And that comes from health, that comes from stuff like that, right? Healthcare and education, and they pay you for their education. They help you out. But in the end, you will be responsible to take care of yourself once we help you out a little bit. And that's what matters, right? So if you look at the USA, it's a bit too much of a free market economy. So what a lot of people argue, the reasonable left, the moderate lefts right now, what they want is a social safety net, similar to those countries, instead of a full welfare program, similar to something like what Bernie wants, or what Yang was going for, which is $1,000 for every U.S. citizen and all that. So there is a degree of balance, and it differs between nations. Again, healthcare bankrupted Greece. So when the economic crisis of 2008 hit, Greece could not recover because they spent too much on healthcare. There is a balance there. It does depend on location and which country does what, but I find a social safety net that kind of helps people back up is somewhat desirable, as long as it pushes you towards working instead of depending. Is that fair enough?
Can you just explain the social safety net a bit more?
If you fall ill in Denmark, the government has your back. If you want to be educated, so you want to have a good job, the government's got your back. They pay you for your education and for the period of your education. So you have healthcare and you have education. After you're done, you go ahead, go start a business, go get employed. But in exchange, Denmark, I think they take 70% of your taxes and 70% of your salary in tax in order to facilitate this education. And in Kuwait it's all oil money, but in somewhere like Denmark they take 70% of your salary. And for somebody has to think, I'm working hard to get let's say $1,000 US. 70% of that will be taken away from me. So my health and the education of others. So my health is taken care of, and the education of others is taken care of. What if I want to use that money? So how much taxes is too much to facilitate this? It's anybody's guess. I don't know. It's a difficult conversation. It's expensive. welfare is very expensive on a nation, and if you don't have the right resources, it becomes extremely hard for you to actually to maintain it, and then you start going into loans, and that's what happened to Venezuela, right? They gave so many handouts, so many free stuff to the people because of their oil money. The second the oil prices dropped a little bit, Venezuela could no longer keep on, and so what they did is take loans and then hope the oil prices go up and keep giving welfare. And look at Venezuela now, failed state because of welfare. So
What's scarier at the moment is the economy in Russia is currently dropping because Saudi Arabia stopped exporting oil to them.
yeah, there's an oil war going on.
Yeah. With the corona thing.
Everybody's losing money from the corona thing right now, and everybody's,
Did you see the thing where
uses it to migrate and stuff. Yeah, what?
Did you see the thing where the Saudi Petroleum Company made an Indian worker just be a walking sanitizer?
Yes. Yes.
That's
Yes.
so cool. Can someone bring up the picture for the viewers? Bring
Yes,
up the
yeah,
picture.
put it to the screen. Put it to the screen.
Okay, I put it on the Discord, so I'm gonna do that real quick. Hold on, let me find it.
People were fuming. Holy shit!
Oh, dude, it's beauty to me. It's it's fucking beauty.
See.
That's all there is to it.
I woke up to that shit at 6 p.m. and just people are just fucking fuming.
Dude,
Holy
if I would have, if I went to my university and saw this in front of me, I would die laughing.
So yeah, walking hand sanitizer. Look at that shit. Look at that beauty.
What is this?
Man, I
This-
told you it is the Dark Ages all over again. But you know, it's a bootleg because it's made in China. I said it.
Dude, here's the thing. In my opinion, this is brilliant. Okay, this is pure satire. Okay, and you can bring the racism argument. You can bring they forced a guy to do it. It's funny. Fuck off.
I just can't wait for the lowest lows. If this is the primest of all, I cannot wait for the lowest fucking lows.
Dude, I want more of that guy walking around. Just imagine, dude, I'd do it. You know what? I'd do it. Is there a cosplaying event going? I want to cosplay as a fucking
Dude,
guy.
okay.
I'll cosplay Corona and you can chase
yeah.
after.
Yeah. You cosplay the coronavirus, and I run as hand sanitizer. Right? It's
And
beautiful.
you'll be chasing each other around.
Yep. Dude, it's beautiful. It's a statement on modern society. I love it. Satire. Make jokes. Make people laugh. I like this. Make light of the topic. People are too panicky. Be like, we're gonna die.
We're gonna die.
Yeah,
Then you see the stats. 50,000 people recovered. 2% death rate. Seriously, people in the UK are panicking. Why? You don't have the virus there as much as.
Do you know what's funny? They are comparing the coronavirus to HIV at the moment because it destroys your immune system. Look at the fucking Spanish fucking flu. They recovered from it, and the thing about Spanish flu, the immune system killed the patients.
The immune system itself, huh?
The immune system itself killed the fucking patients because it builds up fluid in your lungs. And now people are scared from corona. Like, it's gonna kill you. It's worse than HIV. If they found the cure for corona, they're gonna find the cure for HIV. How is that fucking possible?
No, I'll do you one better, right? You're more likely to die falling down the stairs than from corona. You know that. You can trip right now.
And I can't get up.
This is how much. Again, there is no cure. Wash your hands. Wear your mask outside. That's fine. Do what Jacob Rees-Mogg said. Wash your hand to the length of the first verse of the UK national anthem. God save the Queen. You're good. Okay, you're good. Once you do that, you're good. Do what's right and don't panic. That's the main thing that makes these outbreaks bad. It's not the actual thing. It's the panic. It's not the plague. You know, it's not the
Exactly.
Black Death.
That's
You know?
something different.
And if you have corona, can you just sit the fuck at home? Like cold patients,
But-
they're
but-
just
but-
at
but-
home dying.
Tickets to
Corona
China are for
patients,
$3 right now. Tickets to Italy are free. They're just telling me to come.
Dude, what's fucked up at the moment is there's a post on Twitter about like an Italian family with their dead sibling in their house, and apparently they are home quarantined, and they lived with the dead body for like 2 days or 3 days, and it made a fucking scare to everyone.
What the fuck?
How
Yeah,
did this happen?
Dude, that's
It's
torture.
Italy, man. It's Italy.
Yep. The pasta is empty. The pasta shelves are empty. Mamma mia,
Marcello.
Marcello.
Dude, you have to understand. Italy, like, think of anything that the Germans do, reverse that, and that's Italy. Okay? So no, of course, 5,000 people will be infected. It's kind of enlightening for me when a country like Kuwait gets less cases than fucking Italy. All right?
Right.
know,
With that
it
being
tells you
said, I'm gonna go
something.
quarantine myself in my classroom. See you again.
All right,
So, yeah,
man,
good
see
to
ya.
have you.
See ya.
I do want to move on from this, okay? And I want to bring to attention something that I find very fascinating and very entertaining. So GameStop is losing money,
Oh, nothing new.
Oh.
Okay. Proceed.
I've GameStop is
I've
losing a lot
heard
of-
this since 5 years ago, I think. It started
Right,
losing
and-
money. I still do.
They're getting desperate.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who joins the board of directors?
Mm-hmm.
Who?
Reggie. My body is ready. Save GameStop.
What?
GameStop is gonna do a comeback.
I swear I saw this and I'm like, where did that come from?
How
And,
did this happen?
basically, I think here's how it goes. GameStop is like as old as gaming itself, right? It's an institution of gaming that is as old as man. OG gamers don't really want to see it fall because GameStop employs gamers.
Maybe one of the
So-
only shops that they do.
Yep.
Dude, I went to game when I was in the US, maybe 4 years, 5 years ago. I went to GameStop. I actually liked that place. You could speak to the guys there. There's lots of offers, it's a cool place.
Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
I would
And-
hate to see it fall.
Their problem is that right now games are becoming more digital, so their used game stuff they're unable to do it anymore. It's not making them money, and they don't know what to do. And what better person to save them than one of the gods of the internet? Reggie, out of all people. To me, I'm really excited about this, mainly because GameStop needs a rebrand, right? They need somebody who knows what they're doing. And what better than a former Nintendo head of, a former head of Nintendo of America, Nintendo did huge comebacks, after that Wii U nonsense, after all that crap. So if there's somebody who knows about coming back, it would be Reggie.
It could be Nintendo and Reggie. Yeah.
Yep, and dude, all they have to do is just have him wear a GameStop shirt and have him like on the internet saying, This episode is sponsored by GameStop."
Raid Shadow Legends.
So I assume Nintendo's gonna do some limited events with GameStop.
Not necessarily, because Reggie did leave Nintendo, and so now that he chose to jump into GameStop, I think mainly because he's an OG gamer and he really genuinely wants to save that company because it's a relic of it's a historical monument. If he can save it, whatever model he comes up with, and I'm hoping he does come up with a great model. Whatever model he comes up with will solve the crisis of what I like to call the subscription age. Because a lot of people, there used to be stores way back when where you where you rented or bought used copies of movies, and then you watch them, and you either bring it back or you just keep the used copy you got. That business died. Right, it's done with subscription. Things like Netflix killed those things, and things like Steam are killing GameStop. So, what if Reggie is able to find a solution to solve the GameStop conundrum of mainly depending on selling consoles and used games and stuff like that? If he can solve it somehow, then he may also inadvertently solve the crisis of things becoming too digitized. How is he going to do it? I have no idea.
But I hope
no
he
idea.
does that.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he do it.
Because GameStop is actually very... Yeah?
I hope he doesn't release another like fucking scale for Wii Fit and whatever, but for the PlayStation or Xbox. Because that was a fucking failure.
It could be the right move that GameStop they start platforming. They pull up a GOG or something, or even maybe start making their own games and their own exclusives that you can buy on their stores. I don't know what they're gonna do. I just hope they do something correctly.
I would
let them
say
do
the only way they will succeed if they partnered with Unreal Engine at the moment, because Unreal Engine
Why
is trying
Unreal
so-
Engine?
Currently, they are trying to push like through the fucking limits in order to make not just the next generation, but way beyond that. If you saw the latest like posts, they are trying to manipulate light rays and whatever into graphics, and it's getting crazy.
I would say like we just have to wait till we know what GameStop's next move is. That's pretty much it. Let's see which direction they're heading and all that. It's too early to make judgments. It's like speculating for the next Smash Bros. Fighter. I swear. Yeah.
Okay, so since we're the topic of gaming, I want to call to mention this, and you guys should probably know about this, which is, GeForce started like an online streaming rent PC service. So if you're not home, and you're not, if you're somewhere that's say like, you're traveling or whatever, and you want to play your games and you don't have a PC, what you can do is pay $60 or something, and what will happen is GeForce would stream to you the screen of a fully powered PC they have at home via internet, so you can play whatever thing you want to play, or use your computer however you like. Whatever your computer has, you can pull it off via that service via stream. So you need to work in Photoshop and you don't have a laptop, and you go somewhere, and you can, as long as you have a place that you can stream the thing, you can bloody stream the thing in, you can do that. So one of the things they were trying to sell is you can play your games there. So you can open up your Steam, and you can open up your game and do all that. And Gawandi man, you're correct. It's like Google Stadia. Only difference is it's not a platform. It's just a PC. They're just renting you the ability to use a PC without having the PC, while Stadia, it just tells you we'll stream games to you right away. So it's a way better Google Stadia.
So
right?
Apart from the historical raw counter, we just do that online because of Corona.
Well, not really. Not really that. No, not really that. But
No.
that sounds like a great idea. Nobody's against this, right? We can play your PC if you're traveling. Very good.
Yeah, it's fine, but keep in mind, this idea has been tried multiple times and it's failed spectacularly with Google Stadia.
Yes, but Google Stadia forces you to buy games again. That's why it failed. If you can already play the games you have on Steam, it may have had some merit, right?
Do you know why Google
Yes,
Stadia
but
failed?
Still,
Do you know why Google Stadia failed?
Okay.
The exclusive free-to-play game was fucking Destiny.
Yeah.
That's why.
No, they failed because they made gender-neutral controllers. That's why. But anyways, let's forget about the Stadia. Here's the thing. You can't play a game like Counter-Strike. There will be too much input lag. But if you want to play a turn-based game, that should be fine, right? You can play games. There is an opportunity to, And the model, people were trying it out. In the end, they're renting out a PC. They're not losing a ton of money on this. However, that's not the problem. The problem is every publisher started demanding that GeForce takes off their ability to play their games there, because they consider it as another platform, and therefore people should pay to play the games on the new platform. Every developer you can think of is doing this.
Why?
Because they want more money. They saw an opportunity to milk more money out of people. So they're like, okay, if you're going to use GeForce, then the GeForce PC, then you have to buy the game again. I'm sorry.
Even if you bought the game on Steam, let's say.
Yes, and you're using Steam. You're using Steam.
Using your Steam
renting
account. Your
service.
Steam account.
That's
Okay,
like saying,
that's bullshit.
Maybe they don't have enough sponsorships. They are trying to rush things, waiting for Cyberpunk to pop up. Maybe it's their
funny
thing
enough.
because-
Funny enough, CDPR is not doing this. CDPR are darlings who said that they're gonna give you a free port, okay, of the game of Cyberpunk 2077 from this generation to the new generation once we make the better version. So you can get
from PS4
so you
to
only-
PS5.
Yeah, you only need to buy it once.
Okay, finally, somebody did it.
See, that's CDPR. They are gods.
The gods of game.
The gods of consumers. Put them aside. People like Bethesda, people like indie developers, like all these guys are what's causing
Fuck
this
Bethesda.
mess.
Fuck Bethesda. But
Fuck
here,
Bethesda.
I wanted to say something. Like, this is just this is seriously some bullshit. Imagine you're going on your friend's computer and you log in on your Steam account and you want to play a game. That's exactly what you do for the GeForce streaming thing, isn't it?
That's precisely everybody's point. That's why people are angry. What if I go to an internet cafe? Do I have to buy my games again? No. I just use the bloody PC. I'm renting a PC to be streamed
So
online.
it's like an online internet cafe. That's it.
Pretty much it, right?
That's what I said in the beginning.
Yeah, you said in the beginning, in an
That's all there is to
unintelligible
it.
language.
Like, again, it sucks
Corona,
mainly
like-
because it sucks because a lot of people are angry, and a lot of people are calling them out on their bullshit. I'm only calling this to attention just to discuss this, because this is ridiculous. How much greedy do you want to get? How much do you want to squeak out money out of gamers? You can still make a good product, and we're okay with it. How much are you willing to push this? It's frankly annoying. Is this going to happen every time? What streaming content, they aren't authorized to do so. How? Because in the end, they're renting out a PC. The format is different, but it's the same concept. They're renting out a PC.
You're
People
using
bought
your
the
own
game.
account to play.
Yeah, people bought the game. I have the game, and somebody's giving me a screen. They're renting their property to me and giving me a platform that allows me to do so. So, my head hurts.
The sound that came out.
It hurts my blood. I can't. It's too dumb. You can't be greedy. Just don't be fucking dumb. How about that? Can we amend that, please? It's ridiculous. I don't know what do you guys think? Should we start bad mouthing publishers for doing this?
Aren't we already doing that? Fuck.
No, should we do they have is there merit to their argument? Because I don't see any merit.
I see zero merit, actually. Like, you already bought their goddamn game. You only need to buy it once. Seriously.
Again, isn't it enough that, for example, if you want to buy from different publishers, so if I want to play the same game on the Switch, I have to
You
buy
have to
it
buy
on
it
the Switch.
again, full price, with no
Because they're
discount.
because they're publishers, right? If you go to Stadia again, you have to buy the game again because of the same reason. If you go to GOG again, they're another publisher. You have to buy it from them. And we're okay with this. We already understand this, right? However, if I'm not a publisher and I'm renting out a PC, You know, it's like if my Switch breaks and I have to buy the games all over again because I'm on a new Switch. Or if I replace a piece on my PC and it's not the same PC I downloaded the pieces in, do I get punished for that? Do I have to buy the games again?
If my computer broke, do I have to buy the games again?
Like again, where there must be a line here, right? And why are developers bitter on this? Because you're only giving people a chance to play more games. Why do you want to leech out more money? And why do you risk the bad publicity on this? Is it because Google Stadia failed and you guys are salty that you couldn't get a 15th source of income and you can't put Skyrim on that one as well?
Did they put Skyrim on it?
I don't know. Skyrim gets ported everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Soon your fucking phone will have fucking Skyrim if it doesn't have already. Yes. You can. They literally stream to you a screen, and you input via your mouse, and the screen moves with a little bit of lag, right? They have a PC that they stream towards you, so you're just renting out a PC online.
It's like you're using another guy's computer.
Yeah,
Exactly.
The best way to imagine this is if you're traveling and you don't have your gaming PC, and you kind of want to play a game. You know, you want to play Gwent or something, and so they give you that chance.
Look at Darkrai Q8 in the comments.
Yeah, the Darkrai Q8 is, of course, with the developers on that
Pro
one.
developers.
Keep in mind, like Darkrai Q8 is also the type of person who would steal every game that he can find, that he can get his hands on. So he's already giving developers money. He's that guy, okay?
Exposed.
He's the type of guy to go buy the game on G2A.com.
Ocean Games.
Again, we said.
So yeah, in conclusion, coronavirus is dumb. Free speech is great. Go GeForce. that's go GeForce. Yes.
Go CD Projekt Ready. Forgot that.
Go CDPR. We hope to see you in September, and I hope the coronavirus, dude. Here's one thing. You remember beginning of last year, I always said, like, I hope the world doesn't go to shit until Cyberpunk gets out. You know, World War III can happen like a month after I play Cyberpunk. You know, as far as I'm concerned, just let me fucking play that game. You know, have the fun I want to have. Then put the crisis. You know, let the
Corona has the goal to come before Cyberpunk. Fuck Corona.
Yeah, how dare they, right?
How dare they? Yeah.
No,
How
it's
inconsiderate.
Look, Corona came in the most perfect time. You have no idea, man. You just stay at home and do nothing, just play Cyberpunk.
No, Cyberpunk's coming in September, though. It's gonna be so long. I want. Here's the thing. Basically, when the world ends, and now we're back to taking internet wires and using them to hang our clothes. Okay, when that happens, then I wanna go to my children, and I told them there was a time. There was a legend called Cyberpunk 2077. And I tell them all the tales of the game. And then they pass it down to legend. This was what the world used to be. And I trick everybody, you know, so that, you know, later on historians through oral folklore think Cyberpunk is real. Okay? That's what I think about before I sleep at night.
I just
Trolling my 12-year-old kids.
I just
Cyberpunk was real.
don't show them the promotional picture of Cyberpunk. That picture.
I'll show them. There won't be no pictures. It'll just be tales of glory. Back in the day, we had cybernetics and we stabbed people with it. It was beautiful. Yes.
Look at that nice comment. That's what I mean. Cyberpunk.
Transformers. Modern is the air.
You will walk around Cybertown with Red Bulls. Cyberpunk will be a reskin of Death Stranding. No, please.
Walking simulator.
By the way, guys, it is still coming. I'm gonna stream Man Standing on this channel. Okay, I'm gonna play it for 2 hours, and we're gonna experience the beauty of rope games together. But on that point, it's time to wrap up.
Also, I hope Louis gets off of Coronas and goes back to Salt Grinder. Yes, shout out to Louis.
No,
Please come back.
I think Louis is salt deprived. He needs to reignite the salt. The salt. With that said, remember, guys, we have a Discord. It is on the channel info, and now I'm gonna link it over on this fucking chat.
Yes.
And we do also have a Minecraft server for whoever wants to jump in. So let's take a look. See, invite link, yada yada. No, not temporary. No, never. Yeah, can't I auto generate this? Oh, yeah, there we go. Here you go. Boom. Discord server. You guys are more than welcome to be there. And shout outs before we go.
Hamod, you can start.
What? Shout out someone in the comments. I would
Shout out
say
anybody. Shout out anything.
I would actually say like Darkrai Kuwait, because he didn't come for long, but the 3 minutes that he joined in the comments were chaos. But go on.
Well,
Okay.
yes, a Minecraft
Yes.
server. We're gonna build. We can join in if you have Minecraft Bedrock edition, and you can mess around. We have like 4 people building stuff there right now. We'd love to have more. We want to just show off and have fun there. And if you guys there is a general chat there, you can join in and voice chat as they're playing. It's perfect community activity. Yes, world free of Corona, Mahmoud. Yes. Eventually, we'll go to Minecraft VR and live our lives there, Elon Musk style.
We'll download the Corona mod. No worries.
Okay. Again, anything you guys want to say before we wrap this up?
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Shout out to myself after coming back after 7 months and how many episodes? Whatever the fuck, 20 episodes? Yeah. Shout out to Trillion for keeping the channel together. Shout out to Hamod for showing how many minutes late? Like 45 minutes late.
59 minutes late. Be precise.
Yes. Shout out to Corona itself for scaring the Kuwaiti people and making them just like critique the shit out of it. Shout out to the sanitizing Indian guy for sanitizing everyone.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
You're wrong.
This guy fucking rocks. And that's pretty much it.
All right.
Just one more thing. Just hope Louis comes back. That's it.
Yeah, Louis.
Also, this podcast is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends.
Raid Shadow is just a great game. Look at this. You can do this.
Yes, it's
You can have the game play for you and just put your phone there and do something more useful.
Wow.
But yeah, to wrap this up, remember, guys, wear your masks. And wash your hands in the duration of the UK national anthem first verse. God save the Queen. See you guys on the next one.
Right. Also,
yeah, he likes so we can.